Welcome back to TLT Talks. I am here at the beautiful Williamsburg waterfront. That's gorgeous. Greenery, buildings, sky. So I got a very, very exciting show for you today with a very exciting person. Let me bring her on. So we've been talking about, lots about COVID and what's going on, this and that, and how it's really important to, not just look in New York City, but the whole country. Hey, hey,
Eugene!
Jenn Smira, ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful, spectacular, legendary
Oh, come on.
Washington, D.C. top broker,
You're
Jenn Smira.
exaggerating. You're exaggerating.
I'm a salesman. I'm supposed to, How are you? How's it going?
It's good. It's good. It's it's getting a little old. Getting a little old, but we are like, business-wise, we pivoted very quickly.
Right.
It's been a little bit of a roller coaster, but the last week it's picked up in DC.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, look.
It's really picked
so
up.
Here's what I'd love to do. First, I want to know, how are you doing? And before that, even, why don't you tell our viewers, I know how magnificent you are, but I want the whole world to know. Why don't you tell folks a little bit about yourself, maybe some background, anything you want to share about yourself, your business, your personal life, favorite color, whatever.
Favorite color is purple.
Nice.
Let's see.
Deborah Null, if you're watching, you got a purple person out there.
I got a purple person, a happy person. So I'm good. I'm staying positive. I think it's all we can do. I think exercise is really important. I've been running more. I've been getting on the treadmill, trying to stay sane. Some mornings I wake up a little cranky, but then I get it in check. I think it's just all of us are going through this.
Yeah.
Daughter's doing, school downstairs and,
right.
Trying to, be the best parent, best agent. Best wife,
well, how
all of
how's
that
it in
stuff.
DC? Are things like shut down in DC, or like are things open in the corner? Like what's the deal over there?
Well, we have Muriel Bowser extended the stay-at-home order through June 8th. So restaurants are carry-out only.
Right.
As you can tell, I can't get my hair trimmed or anything.
I think your hair looks beautiful. Look at me. I have cheekbones. Who knew? Got my little salt and pepper coming in.
But real estate's been deemed essential.
Oh, so, very cool.
Yeah, and you all in New York. I'd love to ask you some questions, but I know this isn't the time to do that. So that's another conversation. I'm not going to flip it back on you.
This is meant to be fun and engaging. Well, look, here's what I want. I want our folks to know. I want our folks to know a little more about you. Can you give us some background? Where are you from? What do you do?
So I'm from Portland, Oregon. I've been in DC since 2004. Let's see. I told you my favorite color is purple. Prior to real estate, I was in tech sales. I have an amazing group of agents that we work with, like 12 agents. An amazing staff, amazing marketing people. I'm married. I have an 8-year-old daughter.
Nice.
Let's see.
A handful. Yeah. So for those people that don't know, like me,
I've got it going on.
That's it. Jen and I actually met at the Compass Retreat about a year ago now, or whatever it was, and we immediately hit it off. Our business is similar in the way that we run a company within a company. Everything's structured. There's a team with it. There's a real solid team, and the whole thing is designed to service our people, our client base, because we can't be everywhere at once. And it's, people don't understand what it takes to run a team. It's a whole separate, full-time, all the time job. But I think you do it to a very, very high level. And I'm not the only one, because you are literally the #1 agent in DC. So thank you for taking the time with us today. I'm sure you're busy and things of that nature. So tell me what's going on with real estate. Are people buying? Are people selling? Are things up or down? What are you advising your buyers and sellers? Just give us the sort of landscape, because I use ancillary markets big time for our customers. I use Florida a lot, the East Coast, the West Coast as indicators you know, as like, what should we be doing here? Because the whole country's connected in one way or another.
Yeah.
And so tell me what's going on with you guys in DC? Like, what's happening?
All right. So let's see. We started in March. April was, I think, was down for us. Then it picked up, and now it's picked up. So yes, you had a lot of questions in there. So yes, people are, yeah, people. I'm trying to, yeah, people are buying, people are selling. I've received, I get a couple calls a week, both, want to buy, want to sell. Thus far, I've successfully listed 5 properties.
Wow.
With, yeah, and so we've listed them, we've prepped, listed, and sold 5 properties.
That's amazing.
With clients that I'd never met in person.
Wow.
So we really have gone virtual. We've all of our agents, we've embraced this virtual like we're doing right now. And some of those homes have been occupied, which is a whole nother set of challenges.
Right.
And I'll give you an example, and then others vacant. I think when I get a call and it's a seller that wants to sell, my first and foremost, the most important question, it's about your health and safety. I mean, it's number one. Number one. And I need to find out and take a deep dive into finding out what that, the seller's motivation is, what their scenario is. Are you living in this house? Yeah, the answer is yes. Then it's okay. Do they have another place they can go?
Right.
Do you have a second home?
Right.
Or it's like, no, we have to get the show on the road. And so I have I have the confidence, and we have put, a procedure into place to do this. And, I'm really grateful for the trust that our clients, put in us to get it done. So last week we put a vacant home on the market. We had 44 showings. We received 7 offers. And this is a townhouse. So we can also talk about the market and what people are looking at. So I am seeing an influx of people living in condos. They want to be in a row house. Or
everybody wants to be.
You guys call it a
townhouse, yeah. But everybody wants to be on their own, and nobody wants to be around people anymore. Like, give me my own space now. That's it, like.
Yes. And so that house that ended up escalating, $70,000.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. So that was like one example. That seller, and we did everything virtual. So we put together a list of our of vendors that we lined everything up, and we've been providing a lot more to the consumer since we're all doing this virtual thing and we're all at home. So we are just giving the consumer more, like as much as possible. So
so I just want to clarify with you. So basically, somebody calls you, says, I want to sell my home. You meet them virtually, right? You meet them virtually through Zoom or whatever. There's actually a really funny skit about Skype. How like Skype, you had a 17-year head start. Like, you're a verb nobody uses anymore. It's like, hey, let's Skype, cool. And then somebody sends a Zoom link, but essentially you have a virtual meeting. Yeah. And then you do what you do. You have vendors that will come and do what they need to do. And then you're presenting the property online. And when people request, everything's virtual. And then anybody wants to write an offer in that conversation. So soup to nuts, the whole thing is happening virtually. So what's, no, you go ahead. I'm sorry. No, you go ahead.
You go.
So soup to nuts, the whole thing's happening virtually and successfully. It's going to be the last part of a conversation. I want to make this note and then put a pin in it. It bids the question of like, is this the future? Right? Like, so I want to put a pin in that. I want to let you keep going, but I just want to put a pin in that. Like, it's interesting, right? Like, we're seeing all the same things on our end. We're seeing in the last 3 weeks, contracts are up, like significantly, inquiries are up. People are starting to ask for in-person showings. We have 4 offers in the last week across property. We're sitting on 51 listings right now between rentals and sales. And so we're I've been talking to all of our clients that in New York City, there's going to be a bounce back. Like, there's going to be a bounce back. And then I don't know what happens. Then I don't know if it keeps going or if it reset. No one has a crystal ball. But Q1 was the busiest quarter we've seen in like 5 years.
Same. And
sans COVID, it would have been like 15 again or whatever.
Totally. Yep.
Yeah, I feel like the DC, New York market do really play off each other, kind of like Florida also. Those 3 are like the 96 Bulls triangle, or whatever.
Oh, the last dance.
The Last Dance is, I'm one episode behind. It is incredible. I mean, it's like watching my hero. Like, anyways,
Don't give it
okay.
away. I have 2 more
Tangent.
episodes. Don't give it
Good,
away.
good. We'll check in with
Yeah,
each other when we're done.
I know.
So anyways, okay. So my follow-up question was going to be to you, like, so how have you changed the way you've done business? So we got into it a little bit. So everything's virtual. You know, what else? Any other tweaks, especially ones that you think you'll hold on to when this whole thing is over? Is there anything left that you think you like hold on to? What are some of the tweaks in the process? Like virtual meetings is probably
I
a
mean,
big
yeah,
one, right?
like, yeah, virtual. I mean, we're always open to try new things every day. And then our mission over the last few months has been to embrace this change and really rise to this challenge. Um, I predict, I mean, I don't think we're going to go back to open houses.
Ever?
I don't think they're necessary.
Wow.
I mean, that's my view. Why
are you people listening to this? That's amazing. All right.
Look, I just sold 5 houses.
It's crazy. It's amazing. It's amazing.
I mean, maybe, but also what you're seeing is, you know, it's not the quantity of people entering the home that I'm seeing right now. It's the quality. And when I talk about like listing that occupied house, I'm fully vetting like that prospect through their agent.
Right.
Making sure, hey, did your clients really review the floor plans? Can you tell me a little bit more about like the is it a couple? Do they have kids? Like, I'm trying to understand what are their needs, what are their wants.
Right.
I don't need someone walking through this house right now
window shopping
and saying there isn't enough closet space. Like there isn't enough storage.
I love it.
I don't need, and those are real. Those are really important aspects in the home buying purchase. But with what we're providing the consumer and people now, it's enough to answer those questions. Like the consumer can like see that going through the virtual tour, 3D Matterport, through the floor plans. So so with that point, it's not that, you know, whereas before it's just people would see it. I got a lot of calls for this last property I listed. But then I would ask, and I said, did you guys really look at it? Could you just go back to your client? Would you mind? And I'm not trying to like, I'm selling this house. I'm not trying to not sell it.
Yeah.
We just need to make sure before I have these humans with their own germs walking through my client's house. Yeah. I you know, I'm the bouncer. And I need to find out, I'm like, not really a big bouncer, but.
It's not about the size of the dog, right?
Oh, the smaller the person, the bigger the fun. So that's me. So it's really, you know, we're going through a really strict vetting process and ensuring that, you know, they've reviewed all the collateral that we put out there for them.
And indirectly, you are saving them time, right? Like, so look, I think I totally agree with that. I think there is a bit of a psychological shift because before, look, if we go back 10 years, before Street Easy, before Zillow, before all that stuff, right? You called a broker or an agent because you needed access to property, and that was the only way to access to property. Then as, you know, information become more abundant, you know, you physically went to see a space because we didn't offer virtual tours and professional photography. And, you know, like once upon a time, photos were done with like Nikon or whatever, Canon, you know, like, and so now as we step into the future, you know, you can know everything about a property without ever setting foot in it. Between 3D tours, video, you know, all this different stuff, Zoom tours, whatever it is. So like directly, I think you're doing, you know, I think there's a lot to be said about, you know, making sure that everyone is protecting their own time. And number two, I think it's smart. Look, you're a business owner, so your time is your money. You know, this is a commodity.
Yeah.
And, you know, look, I to be honest, I don't think open houses go away altogether. But also I find open houses, like you have to do them obviously, but I find them very unproductive as far as interfacing. Because if I have an open house and there's 20 people in the house, I can't really serve, answer questions, give a proper tour, whatever. So we went to open house by appointment on almost everything like a while ago.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and then this way, like we set up private appointments. And now with this, it'll be like, hey, would you like, hey, John Buyer, I want to protect and value your time. Happy to do an open house by appointment so we can really serve you and you give you a proper tour. Or we do have all these virtual tools. I know you're not used to looking at it, but to take a look first. And yeah, and I do think there's a look. What's undeniable is there's going to be a shift in the way real estate is done. And forget about what we want. I just think that, like, look, if I'm a buyer, and the only way to buy a house is to go around and see, leave my house, take time off work, take time away from the family. Like go around and view 30 houses, 50 houses, 100 houses. Or I could do that at 10 p.m. in my underwear and look at the 100 houses online and then go visit maybe the 2 or 3 that are my top, the top of my list. I just think it's going to improve the entire experience for everybody. Like
Yeah.
why not embrace the technology,
Yeah.
right? Like,
yeah. And then more than ever, the buyer agent is more important than ever. And having your trusted advisor by your side is so important.
yeah,
The house that I just listed, family of 4 with a 7-day-old baby.
wow,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So, with that, again, like it's all about, talking with them how, like, we need to come up with a plan. And they know,
yeah,
like, look, you're my first family of 4, it's like, I'm new at this too, but we're going to do it and we're going to execute it. So it's, no
yeah,
open house, but I had 2 scheduled days. And I had everybody at a 15-minute block. We
yeah,
have 15 minutes
yeah.
to get through this. When you walk in a house, I walked in my house, and we looked at each other, and we're like, wow.
30,
Like,
30, 30 seconds. Like,
you
let's
know.
go. Let's go.
But it's 15, 20
Yeah,
minutes, give people time to,
yeah,
you walk through, and then you can go on the grounds and look around. And, we got it sold in 1 week.
yeah. Well, and here's the thing, right? So on our team, we talk a lot about, I've been studying business for like 10 years. You're super savvy in business, so I know you'll hear me on this. We should start with the outcome. What's the outcome? And
Yeah.
then reverse engineer the critical drivers, the activities we need to do in order to meet the outcome. The open house is just one. Whoa,
Sorry.
it's all right. I did the same thing. I did the same thing a while ago.
Sorry.
I spilled coffee all over myself last week and did the rest of the show drenched in coffee. Commitment, baby. I did another show like a month ago. I was right here in this spot. It started raining. I was with Levy, I think. It was with Levy from Florida, I think.
Oh,
It started
wow.
raining right on top of me. I was like, I put on my hood and I'm like, I'm not leaving. We're finishing the show. Anyways, so
Sorry.
yeah, like the open house, it's just one tactic. It's one activity. It's one critical driver to get to the outcome. And I would make the argument it's not necessarily the most efficient, because again, like you can't really give people one-on-one time so much. Like, and so now people, and from a buyer experience, if I rock up to an open house and there's 20 people there, I'm kind of feeling like I'm not feeling the warm and fuzzies. I'm not feeling service. I'm not feeling a personalized experience. I'm feeling maybe like bidding war. I want to get out of here. Like, so, look, I do think time will tell. I do think that, it'll be interesting to see how things adjust. I do want to encourage everybody watching. Mike Spivak was on here, asked, are we allowed to ask questions? Yes, absolutely. Please ask questions, drop comments, give us
Let's
feedback.
see.
This is meant to be interactive. I'll read it off. Mike Spivak says, let me go back to it. Mike Spivak says, why not go back to open houses? One consumer at a time. Aren't you losing consumers that can't buy online? So I'm happy to let you, we covered some of that, but I'm happy to let you jump first, and I'm happy to answer after.
Sorry, I just did something with the screen. Why not go back?
Why not go back to open houses, one person at a time? So like open house by appointment, essentially. Aren't we losing consumers? Maybe some people aren't tech savvy. Maybe some people aren't, whatever. Aren't we losing something?
Why doesn't that very serious buyer have representation or an agent that can open up that door for them?
Mm.
Are they really serious? Like what's
Right.
like? I mean, I'm not doing dual agency. I don't know. Can you do dual agency in New York?
We can. Yeah, we can.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not doing that. So,
Right.
so I don't know.
For those people that don't know, dual agency means that you're representing both sides of the transaction. So let me clarify that point, because it's an important point, actually. Most buyers that show up to an open house on their own without representation think that they're being represented by both sides, when in fact that is not the case. You're just showing up and talking to the listing agent's representative, and that listing agent's job is to in fact represent their client. Now they're going to be honest, they're going to be forthright, especially if they're Compass, because Compass is awesome. But you are essentially having a conversation unrepresented. Actually, if you think about this like a divorce, you're going to court, and that your spouse as a lawyer, and you're just representing yourself. And with all the information out there today, maybe you feel comfortable to represent yourself, and that's completely fine. But the whole market's going, in the direction of having representation on both sides, which I think is intelligent.
Yeah, and then the other half of that answer, why to halt open houses. I mean, I think there are ways that we're going to adapt and adjust to it, but I personally don't feel comfortable opening. Well, first of all, let me just stop and say that we aren't even allowed to have open houses in DC right now.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
period. So we're getting creative, and we're doing, Zoom open houses. We're doing these live open houses,
Yeah.
again, giving the consumer like real life experience. But why right now we are like in this pandemic, there are people, like, cases are still rising. Why do we need to open up until there's a vaccine, at least? I think then we can reevaluate. But if someone wants to see a home, I like your approach with, scheduled open house times.
Yeah.
I mean, just, much like we're doing now with an occupied property, I think that's the way to go. But you have to, I mean, there are requirements. Everyone's wearing face mask. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Foot booties.
Yeah. And by the way, and you're right. Like we do like, it's not like, oh, hey, 5 o'clock, cool, come on by. It's like, look, let's have a conversation. For us, one of our big commodities that we focus on is time. Everybody's really busy, whether you're in real estate or whatever, especially if you're a parent, like everybody's really busy. And so we really look to protect people's time. And like, look, the house may not be for everybody. And so I want to have a conversation with the broker or the buyer saying, hey, look, what are you looking for? Oh, you're looking for a huge chef's kitchen? Well, this doesn't have that, like, so happy to have you buy, but like, I want to protect your time too. And I want to make sure you're getting a great experience, or whatnot. So yeah, I think you and I are more or less on the same page. I want to reiterate, if anyone has questions, feedback, Mike, thank you for the question. It's really
thanks,
great.
Mike. Wasn't getting up on you, Mike. Great question.
I think
his question was like, was a concern around that question about like the home not getting as much exposure?
Exactly. Like, aren't you losing consumers?
Well, I mean, that's all I know is we've changed, and we're doing it this way, and like, knock on wood, it's working, and we're protecting people and keeping people safe, and that's the most important aspect to transacting and servicing our clients right now.
Well, and that doesn't even end right now. Like, it would be naive to think there will be no change after this is all over. Like, capacity restrictions, like, listen, I've done a bunch of Tony Robbins events. I mean, his main event, he has 15,000 people at that event. I don't know what the future of his business looks like, because I don't know the next time someone's going to want to subject themselves to being in a room sweating and jumping with 15,000 people, like, so it'd be naive to think that this is not a shift in the way we do business, period. Like restaurants, restaurants that seat 100, 150 people on top of each other, like, I wonder, like, as a consumer, am I going to go to the restaurant where I'm sitting right next to everybody? Or am I going to go to the restaurant that, they take a little bit less capacity, but I'm going to have 3-4 feet from the next table, and it would be naive to think that there's not going to be a shift. I mean, there's going to be. So with that, actually, I want to say, so Mike, thank you for the question, and for everybody else watching, fire away with questions. We love questions. We love feedback.
Yeah.
I know we don't have a crystal ball, my love, but what do you see in July? What do you see in December? Like, what's the future look like? If you had a crystal ball, no one's going to hold you to it, but what's your bet? Like,
well, I said like last month that, like, my prediction is that we'll see we'll see the spring market arrive in like June, July. We have just seen a large amount of properties go under contract that are now under contract. So with that, you then think, okay, it's like the domino effect. Those people or those move up buyers. Interest rates are still, I just had clients on the jumbo, 3.5%.
wow.
So, you would think that those people may have inventory that they're then going to list. I'm starting to see some of the like under $500,000, $600,000 market pick up in DC. Like, that's like the condo, 1-bedroom condo. I think the spring market will, well, it's good. The market, let me just put this, the market will pick up, and we're already seeing it June, July. I think it will continue through August. And I mean, historically, the fourth quarter has always been our largest quarter, like our highest quarter.
Same.
But they're talking about another wave, and I think that wave will probably come fall. I mean, I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I just know that it's getting busier, and if we can keep everybody safe and they can help them accomplish their goals and do it in the
Yeah.
safest possible way, then we have to just like help these people, help these families. Like I got a call today from
Yeah.
a good friend, and when we get off, when we're finished here, we're gonna, you know, look at a place, but you know, they're like, we need more yard. We need a
Yeah.
yard. And
Yeah.
people are like really, I think, decisive. They know what they want. They know what they need. And I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a roundabout answer, but I think, you know, right now that it's picked up in DC. I think we're going to see this, like a lot of our colleagues are busy.
Mm-hmm.
Compass, by the way, you know, we have #1 market share in DC. Yay!
Yeah.
So we're going to see it continue to go up. And in the fall,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I love it.
But we're going to do our best.
You know, and here's what's really cool. Here's what I find really interesting. Typically, there's a cycle in the sales market, right? Like the winter months, it's cold, it's snowing, people don't really want to see open houses. July, August, or at least that's what it is in New York. In July, August, you know, it's everybody's on vacation, whatever. But now, everything's virtual, everything's 3D tour, everything's video. I'm up at the Hamptons, you know, I'm out in Florida, I'm looking at real estate. You know what? I like that one, honey, as compared to others. Let's make an offer. You know, it's going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm with you, man. Look, I've done a couple different things about the bookends of what might come next. Either, you know, fall into this massive depression because, you know, all of the implications of the last 2-3 months, or things just kind of bounce back. I tend to lean more this way. I'm more of an optimist.
Me too. It's going to bounce back.
Yeah, and we're seeing it. Like we're seeing it in the numbers. We're seeing it in the deals. We're seeing it in the traffic. Short of a second huge wave where everything gets shut down and disrupted again, you know, I do believe we're going to see a bounce back. I'm already seeing more interest, and we've been negotiating on this one particular property with 2 different offers for a while now, and both of them just came up. And so I think we're not the only ones seeing this. I think people are seeing, like, I'm seeing property get listed, and so it feels like we're on the rebound. Look, one thing I know about New York City and most of the major markets in the country is that we are resilient. We're not about let's pack up our bags, let's give up and quit. You know, like we're about how do we make it happen? What's the outcome? How do we get there? And so, you know, I'm sure we'll find a way. Iggy D has a question. Do you believe there will be an exodus from major cities to the nearby burbs?
Well, again, all I can tell you is that yesterday I had 2 referrals from New York City wanting to move to DC.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's going to be an mass exodus, you know, but I do think that people are thinking long and hard about their life, about where they, like, if they want to start having kids, where do they want to be? They're asking questions in New York. I'm not, don't hate me for saying this, but they're asking questions like, I'm not trying to pitch DC, okay?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And it's okay. It's beautiful. It's okay.
But they're like, can I get back on the subway? Like, you know, these are things you're asking yourself too.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, you know, and then like the benefit of like, and again, I'm not like, but this is just what a client told me, and I'm sharing with you all, you know, that we'll like commute up to New York.
Yeah.
Once, maybe twice a week. It may be on Amtrak, or maybe in their car.
Yeah.
But you know.
Well, you know what's funny? What that brings
stop
up?
Me there.
No. To your point, that's the other thing. Like, look, how many companies are going to go away from office space? How many employers are going to say, you know what, it's cool, just work from home? And like, how many people can just work virtually, no longer needing to be in major metropolitan areas? You know, like again, it'd be naive to think like there's not commission. I think the industry that's going to get hit the worst is the commercial and retail industry, like, because there's going to be a shift in. I mean, for sure, like the two biggest expenses for any company is rent or office space or mortgage or whatever, and salary, payroll, right? Those are the 2 biggest line items always. So if you can go to your staff and say, listen, I'll tell you what, I'll give you a 10% reduction or 5 or 15% reduction in your paycheck, but you can work from home. I wonder how many people see that as a massive benefit. Now as the company, I could take less office space. I don't have to spend as much money. My employees can have a better quality of life because there are people that commute, 45 minutes, an hour a day. You wipe out a 2-hour commute. Like, I just,
Oh, yeah.
I think there's going to be a whole like professional shift. Google and Apple are way ahead of the curve. They
Oh, yeah.
pay based on outcomes, not
Yep.
based on hours. And so they're way ahead of the shift, way ahead of the curve rather, excuse me. So yeah, I do think we're going to see some of that. I do think that there's going to be a shift in the way that work is done. And therefore, look, the three biggest rules of real estate: location, location, location. And all of a sudden, being close to work may not matter. And so, listen, we live in a beautiful apartment. I have a 2,000 square foot duplex, penthouse, terrace, whatever. And my wife's working around the house talking about, I can't live like this anymore. I want a backyard. I want the kids to be able to run around. And we like our place is nice. And like, so I do think we're going to see that. Like, I do think we're not mass exodus. That's extreme.
No, I
But
think
people are going to reprioritize. They're going to look at. It's going to be a real conversation of like, look, you know what? Maybe let's commute, or maybe I can work from home, or maybe, I think there's a lot of maybes. There's a lot of maybes.
or you might, people I think are going to consider second homes.
Yeah, for
Or
sure.
you might go somewhere upstate and,
Yeah.
get, look at a second home. And then, I think people are, people are looking long and hard about how can I have my own, recreational house where I have, maybe a basketball court, or I want like a pop-up shop in my basement, or, I want a tree house or a zip line. And like, I'm a kid at heart, so I want all things.
For sure.
So yeah, people's, I think wants and needs have changed as we've
sure.
all had time to really reflect.
Yeah, this thing was a game changer. Like, it just, it causes us to rethink some of our, day-to-day norms, if you will. Jenn, I want to be really respectful of your time. It's 12:15. I know you have a call. Any fun fact, any tips, anything you want to share? We're going to kick this out to all of our people in our, weekly newsletter or whatever as well. So you'll be reaching nearly 100,000 people with your messaging. I'm very proud and honored to have you on our show. Any final tips, final ideas, final thoughts, fun facts you want to share with, our viewers?
Well, first, thank you for inviting me. I think, and for some of them, can I tell them, like the last time we were together?
Sure.
We were at a retreat, and I think I was rapping to Drake.
So
in the backseat of an Uber with Gordon on my
left.
Anyway, the good old days. So fun facts. I think, more than ever, we see that we're all connected. Mm-hmm. And we all have to continue to work together, and that's in business and personal life, and we all have to just stay healthy and do the right things and think big picture, longer term.
Right.
So I think that just has to be like in the forefront of our actions. Yeah. So just be purposeful in that way, and everything. It's this will be a moment in time. And we're all going to come out, I think, stronger, better, clearer heads. And it's just a time of reflection, and also a time to really work hard. Yeah. I didn't mean to get too deep, but
no, that was great.
That's just how I feel.
I'm going to tell you what I love about you, Jenn. I'm going to tell you what I love about you, because you are a really tough, serious businesswoman, which I respect so much. But I think what you and I have in common, and in our chats, the retreat, what we have most in common is like the real estate's a vehicle. It's a vehicle for us to serve, for us to connect, for us to help people. And like, look, you protect your time, you protect the time of others, you run a business very, very well. But at the end of the day, you love to help people. And I think your final thoughts are very, exemplary of that. So I'm really honored to know you. I feel like we're in the trenches fighting the mission, fighting the good fight. And I thank you for your efforts and for your time. And I cannot wait to see you in person again.
I know.
Yeah.
So let's do this again. Maybe we can do it in the evening with a glass of wine.
There you go. I got a cigar waiting for me as soon as I hang up on this thing. Jenn, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Bye, Eugene. Stay healthy.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.